Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. First I want to thank you all for the huge amount of support for that permadeath run on the fighter. More of that stuff's on the way, it just takes a bit of time. Today I want to discuss Barbarian, as many of you suggested running high agility or drum plus Achilles strike Barbarian. And I'll just say it's a little bit better than I expected and almost silly in its own way. Which means I'm likely going to retire the Barbarian, even though it was a blast using it. 1v1ing with the Bardiche against other fighters or barbarians that are swinging slow weapons is possible. But right now, you're fighting so many speed demon classes. This is pretty much the only way to play Barb, and I agree with a lot of you guys in the comments of the previous video on High Roller. I was doing it wrong. So I apologize for misrepresenting you. This is probably the proper way to play Barbarian right now. Basically, kind of got your pick of the litter when it comes to Barbarian perks and skills. The only one you really need to focus on is that axe specialization, which increases your axe damage. Iron Will is good for magic resist. I use Crush just to get me through the obstacles a little faster. And I also use the one that morale boost that gives you that health after killing somebody if you're more focused on just PvP. But Barbarian has other interesting options too, like you don't have to just run those ones. The big thing with this build is going Achilles Strike, Rage. Rage of course gives you that little bit of movement speed, which can be crucial. And Achilles Strike is Achilles Strike. Slow / damage over time if they're stepping ability that procs with the drum. So you can buy Horseman's Axe for like 50 Gs, which is super cheap. And Hatchets also work fairly well for this build. But essentially, if you're going into Goblin Caves with this, you can pretty much run the lobby. It's just incredible the amount of damage you do with the base level Horseman's Axe, with the +5 weapon damage from that perk, Axe Specialization. Very, very handy, very, very nice, and as you're going to find out here as I show some examples of this, you can destroy people and pick the drum up and destroy them with it again. It's just a bit silly how this is how you have to play Barbarian right now, but hey, it works. So if everyone else is running these crazy things, why not make the most of what the game's giving you with this? Some of my easiest and most successful runs on Goblin Caves have been using this setup, and I've just started taking it into Rune, so I may update things, maybe even High Roller. Some of you mentioned this is the best way to go High Roller, and I still find that difficult because you have, unless you really invest in some decent gear, which I don't have the money for right now, you're going to take a lot of damage to projectiles and physical damage still because you're not wearing a lot of armor. The whole point of this is remaining light just to catch rogues and rangers, but you're going to take damage quite quickly if you get tagged by an arrow. And as you see here, you can even bounce it off their face and grab it again, just for later. And they don't really stand a chance if they're a squishy class like a ranger. But, you know, even though it is destroying Goblin Caves, I still have my doubts with High Roller. Just kind of giving you guys this information because I want to clear the air, and I know a lot of people commented that this is the proper way. And I certainly see why they believe this. It is pretty impressive. You can outrun most classes, but like I said, if you're not running a chest plate, you are still going to take a pile of damage, and it is scary sometimes, especially with warlocks getting blow corruption like you'll see here. The only saving grace to the Barbarian is the fact that you have decent magic resist, which helps with some of the poison damage from rupture, I believe, unless that scales off physical, maybe weak points magical. The blow corruption didn't hurt quite as bad as it would have because of your magic resist. Things do get pretty difficult against fighters in their plate armor. Achilles Strike doesn't do a pile of damage on the initial hit. It's more of if they're running away or trying to get distance on you. So if a fighter's just standing there with sword and board or whatever, you're not going to really survive or be successful. Longsword fighter included, you have to get right in their face and they're just going to headshot cleave the crap out of you for like 120 damage. You don't have great armor, but that's kind of the risk you run with running any of these fast characters, so you can make the most of this. And seeing how most lobbies are full with rogues and rangers and warlocks right now, probably the best time you'll ever have on Barbarian is going this route. Another thing I'll mention quickly as I waft coffee into my face is the fact that you can run Hatchet and do fairly well with it as well. It's actually 5 movement speed faster and there's 5 less penalty. So if you want to go super speed, Hatchet's probably the best route. But the swing speed's a little different. It doesn't hit heads quite as easily as the Horseman's Axe. but it can really get the job done if you need it to. I didn't mind using it at all, and if you can land that first throwing axe or drum, you're pretty much set for catching the guy. And this final example is just me on ruins outrunning a warlock and a rogue repeatedly while trying to land Achilles strike drums on them. One annoying part of this is if they're smart, they will pick up your drum. As you wait for cooldowns on your Achilles strike to come back, they seriously couldn't catch me here. This was minutes of just delaying until I got Achilles strike back, and truthfully I needed more drums. That was what let me down in this situation. I ran away, ran back in, throw another drum, but these guys are smart and they're picking them up. So, if you have to, buy lots. If the tavern master doesn't have enough, or doesn't have any, you might have to go for trade. And they're not cheap if people are selling them, but sometimes you get some pretty high damage drums. It can be quite hilarious. This little excursion with my drum turned into quite a little cluster of people just roaming around, and truthfully believe when I hit rage, I was one of the fastest players in this lobby. Kind of a wild thing, but also a very dangerous thing because you will take damage extremely quickly. So in this situation, all I was really doing was trying to delay and just be annoying as a rogue would be, launching stuff from a distance and not letting you get close. Admittedly, you don't have the double jump or any real protection or major damage output once you pop an Achilles strike. It's all about going all in on them with the Horseman's axe. Unfortunately, that warlock has the speed shrine, so I couldn't all in him there, and now he has my other drum. We're kind of in a bad spot now. Drum is pretty much your #1 damage dealer when it comes to the barb right now because of Achilles strike, and it's kind of wild and hurts me a little bit that it is currently the best way to play Barbarian is buying drums and launching them at people using Achilles strike. It feels so cheese, like so ridiculous. It feels super cheese, but like most other classes right now, maybe that's just the way things need to be to survive as a Barbarian. And if it leads to killing more rogues, then I wish you guys all the best of luck. As I... so close. So close. One more hit, that guy was dead. I hit him with Achilles strike. Just needed that final follow-up swing. Unfortunately, I was getting kited by 2 players. This was a run with literally a 50 gold Horseman's axe only. So, you can put in some work if you're skilled enough and take your time. So look, that's pretty much it for this one. I wish you all the best. And I did want to keep this one short. However, I have just recently learned some of you guys love some longer form content. So I will try my best to keep that stuff coming. It was a little bit more difficult, a little bit more challenging, obviously more time consuming, but it was a lot of fun to make. So perhaps a barb or warlock, or who knows what's coming next for a permadeath character. I love the fact that you can tell a story. This game is about storylines and fantasy, so it's super cool to be able to share that stuff with you guys, and I'll see you all in the very next video. Cheers.